Okay, so today's someone in this bed. Today I want to talk about the big bad, and I guess depending on like your stance on it, like big bad, maybe not so big bad. I don't think it's that bad. I think in some cases it is bad, but anyways, what I am talking about is AI, right? AI, um, like just the general uses of it, what I think on it, and maybe even some controversial takes. Now, I'm just gonna come here and set it forward. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I'm just gonna come here and set the record straight. I'm not that big of a supporter on AI when it comes, and I'll explain like my stance on this like throughout the video, but I'm largely not like a AI person. I don't really I don't keep up with that stuff. But like I do see it. I'm starting to see it more often. And honestly, like I don't think it's maybe that like as popular as like it might have been like I want to say like cuz I feel like it really started getting popular in like 2024, right? And especially when like Adobe was getting into like all the generative AI stuff, which if I'm gonna be honest, um I don't I don't really like Adobe. In my opinion, I don't think you should be paying for apps that, cost money to, just simply edit and stuff like that. Right? Like I don't use Adobe. I use Affinity by Canva to make my thumbnails, and I use DaVinci Resolve to edit these videos, right? And yeah, but like I guess starting with like what do I think of AI? I think that like AI, it's kind of like COVID, right? Like COVID, like we can't get rid of it. Like it's not something we can get rid of necessarily. It's kind of just something that like we have to learn to just like live with, right? And as like sucky as that might sound, I think it's the truth, right? Because like I think AI will. I'm not gonna say will prevail, but like I'm gonna say that like there's not really a solution to it, I guess. And I mean, I guess like the government can put like laws on it or whatever, right? Excuse me, right? But like I'm not really talking about that, right? Um, but yeah, like I think it's something that like we just have to learn to live with, right? It's not necessarily something we can get rid of because, I mean, no matter what people do, no matter what you, ugh, excuse me, no matter what you try to do, there are always going to be some people that just end up using it anyways, regardless, right? There's going to be people like that, right? So again, it's something that I think we just have to learn to live with. Hey, if I'm going to be completely honest, if AI evolves to a point where like if we have to learn to live like with like androids on some like Detroit Become Human level stuff, that sounds lit. Hey, to me, bro, that sounds lit. You know, like, like I'm gonna be honest. To me, that sounds lit. Um, I want to start with, I guess just like what I think isn't like a good usage of AI, which I mean, this might not come across as like much of a surprise, but like I don't think a positive use of as AI of AI. I guess is really not really there's not really a positive nor a negative, but like what I think is like I suppose an ethical use of AI, right? Which is what isn't. And I think like what isn't is like I don't think that using AI to promote like anything, right? To like promote like an event, like to make a poster or like your business or yourself. Really just like anything that is meant to like bring attention to either you or something that like you like to affiliate yourself with, or like something that you want to promote something with. Like you shouldn't use AI to advertise like your product or advertise your business or promote your business or promote your product, because like that takes away from like the the authenticity, right? Like to me at least, I'm not going to see that as genuine, because I mean you don't want to put in the effort to promote your own product by yourself, right? And if you don't even want to promote your own product by yourself, right? Like I'm not gonna buy it, let alone even like take the effort to maybe click through a few links and look at it on like a website or something, right? I don't think that like it's like I don't think that's a good use of AI, right? And I don't think people should use it for that. You know, if you want to promote a business, if you want to promote your business, promote your product, whatever, promote something, advertise something, right? You should at least do it yourself. It doesn't matter how bad it might be. Like honest, like I don't think it matters how low quality it might be. Like and like human creativity and human work, I think is infinitely better than what AI could come up with. Sure, what AI could come up with is like, like fast and it's might be cool looking and very obviously inhuman, right? But like there's a level of I want to say just lack of creativity, right? Because I, I don't I'm not no A I'm not like an AI expert. I'm not claiming to be one, but like I'm assuming that like most that like all if not most AI is like trained off of the work of actual people, right? So I mean in a sense it's literally plagiarism, right? In a sense, like it's plagiarism, and your work is being stolen, to train said AI to make content that is, human like. And I guess there's like an argument like, okay, well then how do you make AI more human like? I mean, that's kind of like a unanswerable question, right? Because like we don't know what AI is, right? I mean, like, I don't even know if AI knows it's at its AI. I mean, there's probably some out there at it. Like, I guess Siri, like Siri, I don't know. I don't even use Siri, but Siri probably knows that like she's not like, oh, she's a robot, right? But like AI is literally just like math. It's just a bunch of ones and zeros, and it's just a bunch of math and like probability, right? It just makes up a bunch of responses, and then it chooses one, like which one is most like likely to be like probably one that's like most likely to be responded if like an actual person were to be asked the question that you asked AI, or something like that. I don't remember. No, I don't really know, but no, like the AI I don't think should be used to promote like an item, a business, yourself, your a product, whatever. I just don't think it should be used for that. Um, Another thing is like I don't think it should be used. Like I guess it's kind of the same as like a business. Like I don't think it should be used to make money. Right? Not like I mean this from like a general like public, like just like the people, right? Standpoint. Like I can't really say anything about like AI businesses because like I mean I don't. I've never owned a business. I've never ran a business. I don't know what it's like. I can't really say like and like from my understanding, these like AI companies are only making the AI. Like they're only making the code, right? They're only making the code, they're only making the models, and they're just distributing them, for use for the general public. Whether it's free to use or, you have to pay per input or, like it's tokenized or whatever, right? Uh, I don't really have any stance on those. This is just for like when people use it, right? But yeah, I don't think that like people should use it to like make money. For instance, I guess for example, I think the best example is like uh shorts, right? Like AI shorts. I don't like it's obviously AI slop, right? It's AI slop, and it's clear that I think a lot of people, a lot if not some people, would rather use AI than make their own videos because, and especially like short form content like on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and maybe even Instagram Reels, right? They could probably make, if it gets enough views, which I mean, it probably will because, I mean, you got old people and kids, I mean, probably hooked on AI and kids hooked on AI brain rot and all that junk. They're probably going to look at it, they're going to be like, oh, that's Tung 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 Sahur, or, something like that. That's, oh my gosh, that's Tung 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 Sahur. Listen, right? Like, I don't, I don't understand. I just don't get it. And I guess it's like, I don't, I would say like people's attention spans are shrinking, and I think like I would argue that like long form content and like content that was like probably just like my videos where it's just like commentary, like those like back in the day, like Modern Warfare or Black Ops, just like commentary, right? Where it's just people yapping and then there's just like some Modern Warfare playing in the background, right? I feel like there's not really people that might not be interested in that anymore because I think attention spans are just shortening, right? And I don't even have to think it. I'm like 99% sure that attention spans are 110% shortening because I mean, you see how popular apps are like YouTube and, something like YouTube Shorts is. What the heck is this? Um, like it's like it's I I don't really know how to describe it. Like it's just saddening, right? Because I there's there's little appreciation for people's work anymore. And now everybody just wants the easy way, right? Everybody just wants to do things the easy way. They want to make, AI content because AI can just whip stuff up within, you know, uh seconds, minutes at most, like honestly. Um and like it's a little disheartening because it kind of like when you're competing against something so perfect and as humans, humans are obviously always going to be imperfect. I don't think there's really a perfect human, right? But like there can be perfect AI. But when you have to go up against something so perfect and something so, I guess I want to say, I don't really know, just something so perfect, right? It's a little disheartening because like you can't compete at the same speed as they do, right? And if you try, you're gonna get burnt out and exhausted so quickly. And again, like it's just impossible, and it's just like it shouldn't be a standard. Being perfect, like imperfection is like I think is like being the most genuine version of like oneself, right? Because people are imperfect, people are genuine. And, I'm not saying that like AI is, I guess in a sense, ingenuine because like there's not really any standards that you can put on AI, right? Like you can't put authenticity to AI because AI is trained off of human work, right? AI is trained off of human work. Like, sure, you could probably like train it off of its own work, right? Um, Give it 100 attempts to do something and see how it evolves over time, right? But like then again, like that's a slow way of doing it, and the whole thing with AI is just how accessible and how easy and how quick it is, and that's like the whole concept with it, and how like compatible and how again just like ease of use, ease of access, how easy it is, how, you know, the price, you know, and it's like, it's a little exhausting, right? And like, I can't lie, I definitely contemplated like just like switching this channel off and then just like making a new one and say I just spent some money on just making on like buying on like dedicated some money on like a AI model, right? Dedicated some money on an AI model and then just gave it a bunch of prompts and then I just made like AI brainwash shorts for like YouTube shorts and like TikTok and Instagram reels. And I'd probably make money off of it, right? I mean, I'd probably be making money off of it by now. But I didn't because that's not who I am, right? I mean, it flashed into my head. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that because I like to see myself as like a creative person, even though recently, like in recent times, I have been hitting like a little bit of a creative slump. That's why I'm just yapping because I can hardly think of like video ideas that can be engaging and stuff like that, right? And I don't really have that YouTube personality where I'm like reacting to every little noise, reacting to every loud noise, and stuff like that. Because I think forcing a reaction is disingenuous and isn't authentic, even though the viewer might not know it, but I'd know it. And, I don't want to be dishonest, right? I want to portray me for me, you know? I want to, I just want to be me, right? And like, just, it's just like, there's just something about like using AI for like money or something that just feels off, right? Because like it really depends on how you see it, right? Because like I genuinely, you could probably see it as like slavery, even though like these aren't real people, but like it's the most. I'm not gonna sit here and deny that AI is arguably one of the most artificially intelligent, like human like life. I guess not life forms, but I'll just say entities that like we've seen, and at least just from what I've seen, right? Because it can replicate people's um, art style, it can replicate people's work, it can replicate people themselves. Like it's it can replicate personalities, and it's like it's kind of surprising, kind of cool, I'll admit, but also kind of scary, right? Um, moving on, just from the topic. Um, but basically, I don't think using AI to promote anything is good. I don't think using AI to promote an event, whatever, yourself, a business, an item, your channel doesn't matter. Uh, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's a good use of AI. Now what I think is an okay use of AI is, I suppose, making like images, right? Like images um of by the way, I'm just gonna set the record straight here. I don't approve of deepfakes and stuff like that. I think deepfakes are can be very they do more harm than good. Even if like you're using it for personal use and you don't share it, it's not a good thing. And I hope, if you're watching this video, I hope you're not generating deepfakes of real people, right? But like, I guess say like anime, for example, right? Generating your own anime scenes, or maybe even pictures, or just generating your own artwork. I suppose it's fine as long as you're using it for personal use, right? You're not sharing it with anyone, nor do you intend to post it on the internet to share, nor do you intend to make money off of it or deceive people and play it off as this was something that you made by hand, right? Because then you're being disingenuous and you're intentionally misleading people, right? And I it's only fine if like I can only see it being okay if you use it for personal use. Again, like you just thought it was cool and like you want to do more, and it's just like something you want to keep as like a collection or something, whatever. You're not sharing, it's just for you, your eyes only, pretty much, right? I suppose you could share it to a couple of friends or something, but like as long as like you disclose that, like, yeah, I didn't make this, fine, right? Um, Another one where I feel like is okay, and this one might actually be, I think, not might, I think actually is a controversial take, is AI chatbots, right? So like popular, I don't want to say these like models, but like I would argue like apps like Character AI. Um, that's really like the only one I know. Like you've probably seen like a bunch of them on TikTok and stuff, or maybe even on Instagram, like an ad, right? Character AI, Chai, um, these AI chatbot like apps, right? I wouldn't say like they're the ones creating these AI because I don't think they do. I would just say like they're purveyors, right? Like they run these chatbots already made by these AI companies, so users can come make their own, chatbots and whatever, and role play with them. I think role playing with AI is okay for now. I'm aware that there has been some cases where I think kids, minors, got a hold of um like an AI chatbot, like character AI. I'm pretty sure it was one of them, or it was both of these actually. I'm aware, and I know, and I've seen that like kids have been using these apps, like minors, and I don't think minors should be using AI. I honestly don't. I don't think minors should be using AI. And it's the same thing as like I generally don't think minors should even be having access to like the internet. Like if I'm gonna be completely honest, like if you're like a child, dude, like you should not be on the internet, bro. Like then you see like parents just be giving their kids just like free range of the internet on like a 50-inch iPad that's like bigger than their head. Like bigger than the head, and something that they can barely even carry with both hands. Like it's just, it saddens me to see that like kids be more glued to a screen rather than going outside and playing, maybe playing ball with a couple of friends, hide and seek, tag, going to the park, wanting to go to the park and stuff like that. It saddens me to see that kids would rather be glued to a screen. And like it's just, it's unfortunate. Number one, it's unfortunate that I'm pretty sure um there are kids out there who have, and this is going to be very topic, or not very topic, very dark. So maybe skip like 30, I would say 30 seconds for good measure right now. That there are kids out there that have unfortunately unalived themselves somehow from talking to these AI chatbots, and I'm fully aware of that. But I don't think kids should have access to these apps, let alone the internet. And I don't necessarily think that it's the AI chatbots, that like it's the app's fault. I more so think it's like the parents' fault, because as a parent, you have to monitor. It is your responsibility and your job to monitor what your kid is doing on the internet, bro. When you're giving them an iPad, when you're giving them a computer, when you're giving them a phone, any technological device that they can access the internet from, you as the parent have to be aware and have to be in the know of what your child is doing on the internet, what your child is accessing on the internet, because there are there are literal just corn apps, corn websites that they can access with just a few clicks. Like I'm not even, and they don't even have to go directly to those websites. You can literally be going on TikTok and you could be seeing that type of stuff. And again, as a parent, you have to regulate your child's screen time. You have to regulate, how much time does my child get? with the iPad, with the iPhone, whatever. How much, you know, time should they spend on the internet? You know, that's why parental locks exist. So your child just doesn't see something that you don't want them to see. They're not exposed to something that you don't want them to be exposed to, right? And like, it's not necessarily the app's fault, but like, and like the only way that like the app can do that is if you know they can verify ages, and they can verify that you are over like 18, right? And it's kind of like and it's another problem with privacy. I don't think that like and this is gonna be another topic for another day, but this is just another thing that I'm gonna bring up because I think it's relevant. I don't think you should give your IDs to like anything. Like, I don't think you should give your IDs to any apps. Don't give it to YouTube. Don't give it to Character AI. Don't give it to Roblox or whatever. Like, you shouldn't give your IDs to these places. But then again, you have to think that like these apps, you know, there is a target demographic or a target audience that they only want these people to be, or these kinds of people to be using their app, right? And it makes sense. But then again, like, and again, this is gonna be a topic for another video. Privacy means nothing in 2026, right? But okay, going back to it, I don't think, again, I don't think AI chatbots are that bad. I'm gonna sit here and state it right now. First and foremost, I'm gonna admit I've used these before, bro. Like, I've used these before. 100%, it can be an addiction, and 110%, it could probably even for some people replace their real friends. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it could 110% replace their real friends. And again, I don't really blame these people because I think we live in a society where it's becoming increasingly harder to make friends, to kind of integrate yourself into somewhere genuinely. And it's very easy to say, oh, just go outside and start talking to people. It's not that easy, because there are going to be people who don't like you. There are going to be people who are going to turn you away, who are going to, I guess, who can hurt you, right? And I mean, most people would rather live in blind bliss, right, than be faced with the fact of like reality and just like harsh truths. And I mean, you can't really blame those people, in my opinion. You know, saying it, saying just to go outside and start talking to people is a lot easier than actually doing it for most people, right? But yeah, like, and like talking to AI, like, I understand that like it can fill a void, right? It can fill a void in some people's lives, but I don't think it should replace human connection entirely. Like, it's fine. I think it's fine to do it in regulation, in moderation, right? Like, you have to be able to catch yourself when you're doing this type of stuff, right? When you're doing something like this. I'm not trying to promote it. I'm not trying to promote it. I'm just trying to like get an idea of, what's good, what's bad about it. And I think it's largely, for the most part, more good than bad, but it can very, very, very easily do more bad than good, for someone. 110%. I don't think it should replace human connection. I think at some point you do have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you need to go outside and you need to talk to someone. You need to go outside, you need to talk to them, you need to talk to a real person. Even if it's just saying, like, even if it's just a simple hello to someone you're walking past, right? Like, it shouldn't replace human connection, right? And again, I think it's okay to do it in moderation, right? I think it's okay to do it in moderation. I think it's okay to do it as long as you know what you're doing, and as long as you put standards for yourself, right? And as long as your standards don't diminish, I think for the most part you're probably fine. Um, I don't think minors should have access to, these AI stuff, let alone access to the internet. If I'm gonna be honest, if it were me, I like honestly, I would put like an 18 age minimum on like just the usage of like these AI like chatbots or something like that. Or even just like AI. Like honestly, just AI. And then like bare minimum maybe 16, but 18 is like where I would put it, right? Um what am I talking about? Using it for, you shouldn't use it for promoting yourself, promoting a business, promoting an idea, promoting a product, doesn't matter. I don't think you should use it for promoting. I think it's fine if you use it just for personal use, something that's like your eyes only, and like you're not really sharing it, nor are you, claiming that it's your work. It's, I mean, really, like, cause like I don't think AI work can be copyrighted, right? So, right. So, as long as you're not claiming it's your work, as long as you're not trying to mislead someone, fine. I don't think you should be using AI to make money, like AI slop, AI shorts on TikTok, on YouTube, whatever. I think it's okay to be using role playing with role playing or talking with AI chatbots, as long as you're doing it in moderation, and as long as you know what you're doing and you know your own self worth, and as long as you're not a minor, I think it's fine. Um, I guess another one that I don't necessarily agree with is like obviously using AI to like do your work for you, like, and I mean like schoolwork, right? Because like if you're in school, you're obviously you're there to learn, but if you're using AI, you're defeating the whole purpose of school, which is learning, right? That one's kind of like a no brainer. I think AI is actually good in some cases where like language, for example, right? Like if there's a language barrier, genuinely, I think using AI to translate a language is actually not even that bad of a thing, right? Honestly, like I genuinely think using AI to translate a language that you don't understand is not that bad of a thing, right? And then like in a sense where you're talking to someone or you approach someone and you don't know what they're saying, right? If there's a language barrier between you and someone else, in that case, I think it's fine. But if you're learning a language, obviously don't use AI. But if there's a clear language barrier between you and someone else, I think it's fine to use something like, I don't know, like ChatGPT or OpenAI to like translate that into English, and then you say something in English, and the AI translates it into, I don't know, German, and they can understand German, and they get a general idea of what you're trying to talk about, or what your reply is. That I think is fine, and that I actually think is good, right? Using AI to bridge a gap between human connection, right? Um, is there anything else? I guess I would say like using AI to speed processes up. That one is kind of a gray area for me, right? I don't because like I can see like coders, like I can see coders using AI to maybe write a few lines of code that is maybe a bit redundant to them. This is actually a cool piece of land. That is maybe redundant to them, and they don't maybe feel like they want to write, and they'll write another part of their code or whatever, and they'll just have AI write like the really simple parts, right? I think maybe that is okay. I don't really know. I don't code, like I don't know anything about AI coding, nor do I know anything about coding itself. I think I'm actually gonna live here. What is Emerald right there? I think I'm gonna live here. I've been looking for a place to like set up shop and stuff like that. This is sick. There's a mountain range right there. It's kind of like a cool moat too. Yeah, this is a cool place. I'm gonna live here. But yeah, like I again, I don't really know, and like that's really like the only example that um like I can think of, right? That is like, you know, using AI to speed up very simple processes, right? Very, very simple processes. And it's just, I guess, like my understanding of AI just hasn't been maybe refined enough. But I would argue like anyone's understanding of AI probably isn't refined enough regardless, right? But no, like again, like I don't think using AI to like well, I don't know, cuz like I want to say that like it's not that bad of a thing, right? Using AI to um speed up a process, right? Like that coding example that I mentioned. I don't I want to say that like that's not necessarily a bad thing to do, right? But then again, I have to think about what's being coded and whatever that thing's being coded into, you know, is it going to be released to the public? Is it going to be, something to make money from? I don't know. Like I don't know. I think it's important for clarity that for companies or users or people, just anyone who uses AI like in their product, I think it's important to disclose whether AI was used even just the tiniest bit, in a video in a video game. For example, I think Call of Duty, right, the more modern Call of Duties, I think have been accused, proven, and have, I think, like I know Steam requires for developers and company and like publishers to disclose whether or not they used AI um in their game and how it was used, right? Which I think is a good thing. I think that's a good thing, right? Because there's clarity, there is openness about it, right? And what things are and what things aren't. I know Call of Duty. Apparently, Call of Duty has been using AI to make some of their calling cards, maybe even some emblems. By the way, I think Call of Duty should bring back custom emblems, right? Custom emblems and custom weapon skins, like in Black Ops 3. And in my opinion, Black Ops 3 is the best Call of Duty of all time. Um, but no, like it's just like I think the disclosure when you're using AI is important, right? Because if you don't use it, then like you shouldn't say something about it, right? But if you do use it, you should say something about it. And it's really just that simple, right? It's really just that simple. But yeah, AI, good, bad. Generally, I think I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to stuff like this. Um, like it's just something that I don't know, cause like I could see it both be used for good and for bad, right? So I'm kind of in the middle, but I don't think it's good using it to promote products. I don't think it's good using it to promote businesses, events, whatever. I don't think it's good to make art from, copy art from, copy an art style, copy, just someone's work and use AI to train off of it and make your own images and then post them on the internet or whatever, or stuff like that. I don't think it's good to make money, to make AI slap shorts on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram Reels in order to make a buck. I think it's fine if you're using AI to role play, to chat with, but I don't think AI should completely replace human connection. Human connection, I think, is very important. And every once in a while, if you do use AI chatbots for, you know, if you do use them and if you use them a lot, I implore you to take a break sometimes and just go talk to your mom, go talk to your dad, your sister, your brother. Just go talk to someone, say hi to someone outside, say hi to someone you pass through, compliment someone, make their day. But and I think it's important to disclose when people are using um AI. So I mean, yeah.